I've got photos on maybe millions of sideboards all over the world. After I did a sum once, and how many photos I've taken is ridiculous. I mean, even now I take 600 a day quite often, and these photos end up all over the world, and I don't even get to see them much. But occasionally I find out, like I was at the Ideal Home show not long ago, and I met two people, one of whom I'd photographed the baby 30 years ago. And this is a strapping lad of 30 odd now. You know, it worked out that I was the guy that did it. And I'm proud to have photos all over the world, although I don't get any praise from them really now, but I think it's something to be proud of. I did a lot of portrait photography working in the studio. We had a studio in Ealing, and that was good, but it was really terribly scary when you look at a diary that is empty and you know that you've got to fill it, because that's what we would do. We would book people in and we'd have to have 8 sessions on a Saturday to try and pay the bills, which were always going up, and the rent was horrendous. It was in a shopping mall, and they like to charge a lot of money, so you don't get people coming every 6 months for a family portrait. You know, you've got to fight for every session, and it was difficult. But then we started doing a few schools and nurseries, and we realised, you know what, we should do more of this. So once you've got a school, you do it every year, twice a year sometimes, the same school. So I don't have to worry, all I've got to do is behave myself, and we get the work every year. But then we worked out, if we do some nice schools, you know, we might be able to do some families from those schools. And sure enough, that's what we started to do. And that's helped us quite a lot in the not so busy times. It means someone gets on the phone, or we have to send out adverts, but they're already our clients. So it doesn't feel like you're sort of pestering them, because they're already our customers. We can phone them up. How did you like your school pictures? Everything good? Fine. Would you like a family picture? So we do that. And we do these arty family pictures, and you know that because you've been along with us to do some. So yeah, that's how we get the work. It's difficult to get work cold from nowhere, but the repeat stuff is good. So if you can get any work that's repeat, do so. You know, anything that repeats, it's always good. I think one of the things that was funny is, as an assistant of probably about 19, working in a studio that did a lot of photos of cakes, the advantage was you could eat any cake that wasn't perfect, and no one minded, and it was expected. Someone had to eat them. Oh well, I thought of another one too. But we had a delivery of jam tarts one day, and I thought, good, jam tarts. I opened the first box, and most of that first box was not that good, so I ate them. Then I went to look for the next box, and I found that I'd just eaten the only box of jam tarts of that sort. Now, my boss was not a friendly sort of character, so I immediately went into a mild state of panic and rushed out to the supermarket to see if I could buy some, but they had basically not been released in this shade, you know. That was it. I thought I'd get the sack. I'd been sacked a couple of times by him before, but taken on again. And but funny, for some reason he saw the funny side of it, but I was sweating for a while. Another one was, we photographed a Barbados advert for that went on buses, and they had bikini clad people, and we had full-size letters, because before Photoshop, so they had full-size letters about this high made of plywood, and people drapes on them, B-A-R-B-A-D-O-S. And it was shot in 2 halves, which for those days was clever. I mean, we do it all the time now, but they had to put it together, and you know, that was cool. And they had one guy at the end holding a red fish, and this red fish was hard enough to get, because when we got it, the art director said it's not red enough, so we had to go and make it more red, which involved going to a special guy somewhere and getting it painted. Anyway, we got the shot. The tail nearly fell off while he was holding it for an hour like this. Eventually we got the shot cleared out, and it was holiday time. We went away, everyone went on holiday, and I forgot to empty the bin. So it was sitting in the bin for about a month. So when we came back, it wasn't a very nice smell in the studio. I just think, like a lot of things, it's about confidence, but then I suppose I'm in it, and I've been in it all these years, so I'm fairly confident. And But I see a lot of people that are really quite capable. It's just they don't believe they are capable. There was a young girl we took recently on a shoot. I got her to take some pictures because I was struggling a bit entertaining some of these children and shooting, because it's quite difficult entertaining and putting a camera in front of your face, which is why I often use a tripod in certain situations so I can entertain and press, entertain and, you know. So I'll often use a tripod. But you can't use a tripod for every style. If you're doing natural stuff, you have to sort of get down on your knees. You can't have a tripod and you've got to snap away. But it's great sometimes to have someone with you, just entertain, get them looking up, it makes life a bit easier. So I got this girl to actually take some pictures because she wasn't that good at entertaining. So I thought I'll get her to take the pictures and I'll entertain. And at first she got the focus wrong because we're using a very small depth of field. You know, sometimes, well, usually we go for f2.8, which is a safe-ish depth of field. I could explain a bit more about that, because if you go too shallow, some customers, they don't understand that we're trying to be artistic. One eye's sharp, one eye's not sharp. Why? You know. So we go for f2.8. We're trying to make a living here. We don't want complaints. So you know, she was missing out, getting the wrong eye in focus or getting the totally wrong focus. But you know what? After about half an hour, she was getting quite good shots. And I was almost worried, because I was thinking, God, if someone after half an hour lesson at doing this can be taking shots like this that are really quite saleable, just about anyone could do it. I shouldn't be saying this on camera, but it's really true. If you practice it a little bit and then put yourself out there, no, why should you not get work? There's 35,000 educational institutions in this country. It's a lot of work out there. It's just a case of turning up and being at the right place at the right time with a bit of confidence. You've got to have a price list, you've got to have the right, it's more to it than taking the pictures actually. But yeah, I wouldn't put anyone off. There's lots of room. There's some big companies doing what we do, school pictures, that a lot of people aren't happy with it. They want some of the smaller little nurseries and private schools, they want something nice and arty. So there's a lot of room for people to get in and do that sort of work that a lot of these big companies can't do. When I go to people's houses, which I do, and I look at the pictures on their sideboards, I say, thank God I've got a job, there's no doubt about it, the rubbish that's on display.
We would like to thank Gemstone Films for providing the lighting kit. For equipment hire and video production needs, check out gemstonefilms.org.